Guess what? It's Tuesday, it's 9 a.m. And I come to you with a little bit of trepidation. I'll call it that today. My trepidation is because I feel unprepared. And what I mean by that is specifically, I've been coming to you with a story. And today, I don't have a story so much that really compelled me to want to be shared. And so I was in a bit of a panic. And truly, what I want to convey today is our pipeline of inspiration is what fuels our ability to show up for our life, for our commitments. And when I feel empty, it's usually because I don't have the answer. Maybe you know what that feels like. Not having the answer to me is one of the scariest places to be. And I say that in regard to being unhealthy when I was bedridden and resting to recover. It wasn't the diagnosis, it wasn't the actual bed rest that was difficult for me. What was most difficult for me in those times was the unknowing, was not having an answer, not having a timeline. And so I come to you today to share a little bit about how I cope when there is no story, no clarity, no lesson to guide my way forward. And as you've heard me talk and teach and self-soothe, one of my favorite mantras is breathe, move, rest. And this mantra has helped me to simplify my daily activity. And what I mean by that is I really let this mantra be the guide, be the choice, right? So essentially I have three things. I can choose to breathe, I can choose to move, or I can choose to rest. And identifying what this moment is meant to be by those three categories. So when I don't have the answer, when I don't have the story that is needed to share at story time, my first response is a little bit of panic. And I fall less and less, but I still fall into this fear of I'm not enough. Who do I think I am to do this weekly showing up, weekly story time? Then I breathe. Literally, I pause, and the sooner that I can catch myself in that tumultuous, scattered thoughts, they're not scattered because they're not unfamiliar, but they're not in alignment with who I am. So once I can notice that that's where my mind and my energy and my focus has gone, I come back, and the easiest connection between this mind and this mind is the breath. The doorway between the layers of ourselves. And by finding that doorway through the breath, I can connect again with truth. We are all already enough just as we are, as broken as we are, as incomplete as we are, as messy as we are. We are already enough. Because enoughness is about who we be, not what we do. So, after I breathe, I move in the sense that I move the energy of my thoughts and I move my body to the place where I can find my journal. And this is my gratitude journal, which is my favorite go-to strategy when I need to reconnect, when I need to refocus on what's important. I come to my gratitude journal and I just flip through the pages. Sometimes there's one that's been earmarked because I want to remember that one particularly more. But that helps me to then come back to what's happening. Now, the third one, breathe, move, rest. Rest is both a physical body rest, which is why I share restful yoga practice, which is why I practice things like yoga nidra and yin yoga and restorative yoga, is that we have a lot of work in our daily living, but we often don't have the space and the time for rest. But rest beyond the body is rest for the spirit and rest for the mind as well. And for me, that is most often accessible. Can you hear my birds? My children got birds this fall, and they seem to wake up when I turn on the video recorder. So the rest could look more like doing, right, for some. For me, it looks like non-doing, or even sometimes undoing. And what I mean by that is the rest is about finding that space of peace, of quiet. And quiet is probably my most powerful rest space. And in that, I do my daily meditation. Now, truth is, because of this little tailspin, I didn't do my morning meditation before coming online with you. So I thought I'd share a few minutes of that meditation time with you. Stay if you'd like, join me if you want, or maybe you are moving on with your day with this simple nugget of when the life can get overwhelming, when we feel like we don't have enough to show up, pause and be in that truth. Let yourself breathe, and then move to find confidence, move to find affirmation that you already are enough. For me, it's my daily journal. My family can also play that role for me quite a bit, in the sense that just being there with me. Find those places, those people, those practices that affirm who you are, and then know when you show up, it's just a matter of giving your attention, and that has to be enough, because that's all we ultimately have. And after we show up, after we give, then it's time to remember that we have to rejuvenate through rest. And whether you're an introvert or an extrovert, we all need quiet time. We all need rest and introspection. Finding just the right style and temperament and amount of time, that's part of the practice. So, breathe, move, rest. Come empty if you have to, but show up in who you are and trust that you already are enough. If there's things on your to-do list, they'll still be there after our meditation time. But ideally, hopefully, after the practice has taken its effect, and this may take some time, that to-do list will become less overwhelming, right? That to-do list doesn't have to rule your heart. So, let's take a moment. Let's take a moment, find a comfortable place to sit. For me, I'm going to get my sits bones underneath me, spine tall. Sometimes I keep my legs down when I sit in a chair. Sometimes I like to tuck them up. But ideally, we're just looking to have the body be in a sustainable space so that we can breathe. Right? So I'm using this blanket for a little extra comfort and prop. We'll use the back of the chair. And that's really how you begin, right? How do you begin your meditation? How do you begin your quiet time? Finding a safe space that you can settle and be undisturbed for a matter of just a few minutes. And breathe. Move into the introspective and rest in this shape. See, it's all breathe, move, rest. And my gratitude today is for you, for allowing me to share this space and allowing me to share this truth that as much as I am a preparer and a planner and an intentional practitioner, sometimes the well is dry. And that's not to say that I'm disconnected from a life of inspiration. In fact, it's just validating that inspiration has its flow. It's inhale and it's exhale. It's fluid flow of abundance, and sometimes it's slow trickle. But truly what happens most is that if I step away from my practices, if I don't show up to do the things of self-care that maintain my lifestyle, that's when inspiration is hardest to grasp. And for me, that includes meditation. That includes the yoga asana practice. And probably most importantly is that includes intimate connection with myself through meditation and through my friends and family through conversation and time together. So I'm going to close. May you breathe deeply, move freely, labor lovingly, and live vibrantly. And move into some short meditation of quiet. Whatever's in store for your day, I hope that you can move through the day knowing that you are enough. Even if you feel a little flat, a little uninspired, or even a little unprepared and empty, show up, because that's what life is, showing up. Namaste.